How the heck are you guys? I am Fastidious, and this over here is the young, the handsome Dr. D's. How you doing, Doctor?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for having me on, Fasti.
Thank you for just having me on your channel. If you guys can see from the top left of your screen, or maybe the thumbnail, or maybe you just read the title of this video, we are rating the top 10 Gear Dungeon 1 heroes in Watcher of Realms, and we just finished, like 45 seconds ago, on your channel, doing the top 10 in Gear Dungeon 2. And that video, I knew it'd be good, but that video I think turned out super interesting, because we both know a lot of strats for Gear Dungeon 2, but we have our main go-tos, and it really informed our top 10 list, which is pretty dang cool. So what we're going to do here is, if we look right under me, we do have my top 10 here, and there we're going to fill in Dr. D's top 10, but additionally, I've got honorable mentions saved for the end that I'm pretty excited to go through. So we're going to do our top 10, you know, you do 10, I do 10, you do 9, I do 9, just like that. And then at the end, anyone that slipped through the cracks, we're going to give a shout out. But if you think we missed anyone else, please let us know in the comment section below, or we'll briefly explain our picks. But if you don't understand a pick, ask us about it. And finally, last thing we got to say, because of this, you've inspired me, Dr. D's. People have been asking me for updated Gear Dungeon guides for literally over a year. This is a project you came up with, and now it's inspiring me. I'm going to do updated guides for Gear Dungeon 1 and Gear Dungeon 2. I said it on a video. Now I'm committed. Are you ready, good doctor?
Oh, I am ready, and I'm also ready to watch those videos. Can't wait for you to post them.
Oh, here we go. All right. And I got to say, this might be a long intro. We're coming up on 2 minutes, but this video will be 20 minutes or less because you got to go pick up your girl. Hold me to it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
Doctor, you are up. Number 10. Who is it going to be?
And at number 10, I have a guy who is an epic. He is an epic, but he is a beast of an epic. He makes it to where you don't need anti-heal. You already know where I'm going with this. I got my boy Greed.
Hell yeah. Excellent pick. He is kind of a no-brainer, but somehow I left him off my honorable mentions. But this is me saying he should have been there without a doubt. As will another epic that will probably not be on our list, but I'll mention it later. Talk about Greed. Talk about how you use him. He's so freaking good. It's such a good shout out for Gear Dungeon 1.
Absolutely. So the thing with Greed is I was guilty of never using him at all. But what happened was one of the people I was doing a takeover for did not have an anti-heal, and then my chat was hitting me up like, yo, D's, you got to use Greed. Trust me, you can do it. So then I threw Greed in there, and I was like, oh my God, this actually works.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's amazing that Greed makes it to where you don't need an anti-heal, because they'll start healing if they start doing damage. And as long as you're slowing them down and you can kill them before they reach the tank or where the portal or whatever, then you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. So for anyone who doesn't know, you put Greed right here. He's pointed left. He slows everyone down, and then you don't even need any tanks down. And this is the most common strategy I use, though the anti-heal strategy is very good, as you'll learn from both our lists, I'm sure. But my like super top of the list guy is the better version, so that's why Greed got the honorable mention, as well as, I hope you don't mind me mentioning it because I don't think you'll have her, also Mari. That's another option. She's trickier than Greed, but she does work. Yep. There's one other spicy one that I'm not going to reveal now. He's about to get a buff. It hasn't happened yet at the time of filming this, but it will be happening right after, and that guy is as good. So that's something else to keep in mind too. But it's not live at the time of filming this, so he couldn't be on the official list. Great pick for number 10. I love that pick. Doctor, I here have got at my number 10, Artemis. Now, I have Artemis pretty low because I want him as my representative of anti-heal, because I'm very much of the opinion the cleanest way to do this is no anti-heal. I almost never use anti-heal. I honestly can't remember the last time I've done a Gear Dungeon 1 takeover with anti-heal, which is kind of funny because I think I had the first strat, at least on video, that was the stack anti-heal strat, but I just think it's out of vogue. I think there's so many options now. We're going to hear them in the honorable mentions. You mentioned Greed. I mentioned Mari. You're going to see at the top of my list. I just don't think you need it the way you used to need it. So I don't know if you agree with that. I just feel like anti-heal's kind of out, in my opinion. Everyone has such full rosters nowadays, and there's so many new options. I tend to avoid it.
Correct. And I'll double down on what you just said because I 100% agree. And at number 9, I actually had Artemis.
Yeah.
So I did throw Artemis in there because, like you said, he's going to be my go-to for anti-heal. If we are using an anti-heal, Artemis is my go-to. I mean, not only is he throwing out anti-heals, but he's also going to be healing up the squad. And sometimes you need that, sometimes you don't. But it depends on the player's gear, honestly. That's basically what it comes down to. But
yeah, actually, really good point. His healing, if you don't have good tank gear, because that can be tricky, especially if you're doing the anti-heal strat. That's why you're bringing Artemis. Those heals are so freaking clutch. And I will say, if you do have good tank gear and you don't need healing and you can get good speed numbers, he can deal a lot of damage at A1. So good little support if you need like a little more for one of your mages or something. So I really like that pick. I really like Artemis. I want to mention one more thing and then I'll show my number 9. The guy I mentioned that can kind of do Greed's job can also do Artemis's job now. So I can't mention him yet because he's not buffed, but it's coming. A lot of people can already guess it. Or if you're from the future, you already know who I'm talking about. That'll be in the honorable mentions. All right. At number 9, we've got Constance. This is kind of a unique one I like to do. But when in doubt, if someone has Constance, it is a really easy dual purpose use hero, dual purpose hero, double use, whatever you want to call it. I use Constance as both the tank to draw the aggro from Volca and as an inspiration unit, and actually a third kind of baby use, some healing. And she's kind of mindless to use. She's really easy to build. You can use her as a full tank in the bottom lane for anti-heal comps and stuff like that. The gear requirement on that is really difficult. But what I like to do is I hide her over here behind a DPS I might put here, or I hide her over here behind a long-ranged fighter unit. I'm sure we're going to talk about a few of those. And she works in a lot of different ways. So if you really got the gear, you can use her as a tank. If you don't, use her as an inspiration unit and as an aggro drawer with a little bit of healing. The first time I used Constance, I ended up using her for like my next 30 takeovers because I'm like, she's so easy to use. There are better options now, but she is so easy to use. So I really like her for that. Who do you have, sir, at number 8? Sorry, what were you going to say?
I will say that I think our list is going to be a little bit different because now that you mentioned that, I see you don't even use an anti-heal. So I do a whole different strategy. It works for the most part, but like I said, that one time the guy didn't have an anti-heal. I ended up throwing Greed in there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I use anti-heal if they don't have all the other things I'm looking for. But nowadays, I don't need to use it. I will say that's the original strategy I came up with. So I definitely like that strategy, but I think the no anti-heal strat is just so good. So Artemis was just my little shout out to what I think is slightly dated.
Okay, so let me say this. On the top, I do not use... I know you probably have Valkyra on yours. I don't like Valkyra. If you have her A1 and you have Praetus, I'll throw her in there, or maybe throw a Constance behind her, like you said, to give her a little bit of buff. She just doesn't... You have to build her like really, really good for her to actually take out that unit without Praetus. But... and you also need the artifact, her exclusive, or you need to get creative, put Vortex in there. So I'm my go-to for the top side. That's what I mean by it's going to be different. Is I do just like I'll put Numera or Alicia, whoever. They're not even going to reach the guys in the back, and I do a swap on the back. So I do my next 2 units is actually we'll start with number 8. It's actually going to be Zarus. Zarus is so broken for this. You just lay him on the top. He deletes everything. He will delete everything and you're good to go. You withdraw him, then you're going to swap out with who I have at number 7, but we'll go over that later.
Yeah, Zarus is someone I use with some frequency. He probably just missed my honorable mentions, though you'll see like I've got Numera there and stuff like that for exactly what you described. I guess it probably comes down to just philosophy of how we approach these lists. I'm just thinking like optimal best case scenario, who is the most necessary for what I think to be the best strat. But I totally hear you. You can throw Zarus down right here if you're in between marksmen, the little archer guys, or even here if you want to take out those top 2 guys, and it is a delete button for sure.
100%.
Yeah,
that's my go-to. I'm just going off of. See, we're doing it a little different. I was just going off of what my go-to is whenever I do a strategy.
Dude, you don't have to defend it. It's a great strat. My first strat ever was Mari here, Virna here, and then I did an anti-heal cluster on top, which is what I did for a little while, which was, I think, the popular strat briefly, and then everything else got popular with Valkyra and Thalon and stuff like that. But pretty cool stuff. Let's continue on now. I think Zarus is a really fun pick there. At number 8, I have got Valkyra. So very nice transition there. Valkyra, I still think is a top tier option. She is one of the absolute legacy OG units of this game. So many people nowadays have her A1. Additionally, ancient summons are so much more common, so it's a lot easier. You can get her from those too. She's one of the couple units in the game you can get through every summoning currency. So actually, I used to not rate her as high because it was so reliant on the A1, but now so many people have her A1. I actually think it's really easy to use. I do want to shout out a couple things. Yes, you can use Vortex. If you've got Gwendolyn, I know that's an esoteric choice, not an esotericist, but a kind of a far out choice. She is god tier for Valkyra, but also there's some other cool stuff you can do now. You can do Draylin behind her. That gives an enormous shield when Draylin ults. You can do A1 Hearts behind her. That gives an ungodly shield. And all those things now can really lower the gear requirement. So there's a lot of ways to make her work. And there's a healer support coming up on my list, I think at number 7, who also has taken her to the next level, in my opinion. So I still think she's super functional. She's not the highest fighter on my list. I've got one ahead of her, but very cool. Who do you have at number 7, dude?
At number 7, I have none other than Honora. That's the other person I swap out with. And a lot of people have Honora because we just had her banner recently. So she just makes the top easy. She's another one that just absolutely deletes it right when you pop the ultimate. She will absolutely clean them out. And Honora's just an absolute beast.
I love Honora. She's on my honorable mentions. Anytime you say someone that's on my honorable mentions, I'll just mention them there. The knock against her is her rage regen so rough, since she can't get any only through hitting stuff and then rage regen just over time, you know, her rage regen auto. So I find that pretty dang clunky. But like you said, for a cycling strat, it's really good. She has that really good initial cost coming in at 600 when it's only 800. I will say her DPS, I think it's still awesome, but there's another unit on the list who I think is better if you don't have her bond skill. And I think her bond skill is like one of the hardest bond skills to get in the entire game. So I think I had to give her just the honorable mention for that reason. But huge shout, insane burst, and really good follow-up damage after that. Really good unit and crowd control. So
yeah, I mean, she definitely works. I actually don't have her bonded. I'm a little salty that I still don't have Mirror. I don't have Mirror and I don't have Valara, but it's okay. That's another story for another time. Still salty about that a little bit.
I hope you get him real soon. I just pulled my first dupe of him, but I already had 3 soul stones in him, so I wish I could just give you that dupe. Let me show you my number 7. I think I know who this is. I think this is the healer support I was talking about. Yes, it is. This is Diao Chan.
Diao Chan.
Diao Chan is just completely cracked for this. You put her in black mode. She's got permanent uptime on her inspiration and the penetration she gives. She's only giving it to your 2 DPS the way I do it. You know, typically, if I can pull up the map so quickly, I don't want to take too much time here. But if we yank this guy open, you will see you can put Diao Chan right here, and if she's A1, she's going to reach here and here. I think Diao Chan A1 is a very good assumption at this point, because if you've got her, it's the best use of a soul stone in the entire game, unpolished, that is. And yeah, you've got a DPS here, a DPS here. That's my typical strat. She's touching both of them. She lowers the gear requirement immensely, permanent uptime. If you're getting a little tight on damage, you could always switch her to white, or a little tight on taking too much damage. You could switch her to white, but typically just put her in black. She's good to go. I think she's crazy.
Yeah, so she was actually in my honorable mentions. I do like her, though. I do like her, but there's someone I like a little bit better, which I'm sure you have on your list.
Who do you got at number 6?
At number 6, I have Elowen.
Okay.
Elowen just makes things a lot easier. She makes things a lot smoother. And Elowen just, you know, the rage regen, it's mainly because the rage regen. It makes it to where, for my strategy, I have to have like either Vierna or Iona at the bottom, and you need to get their ultimates back in time. So, you know what? I'll just tell you my 6 and my 5. It's two support units. It's going to be Elowen and Hollow. Those are my 2 go-tos. And surprisingly, most accounts that I do takeovers on have Elowen. It's crazy. I thought that, I guess she's not that
They've
much
run her banner
a
lot, and they neutralize the rates.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Correct. But I'm still a little surprised that almost every single, there's not a single account that I do, maybe 1 out of every 100, where they don't actually have an Elowen. Almost everybody's got Elowen, so you just throw her in, slot her in, then you need Hollow to work on the bottom. Hollow is very, very important because of the rage regen, and she can reach everybody, makes it nice.
Yeah. Hollow's on my honorable mentions. I always use her on the top, unless they don't have Elowen, then I use her on the bottom. I've got Elowen a lot higher. I think in your video for Gear Dungeon 2, I forgot to mention the Wood Elf for the healing of the middle lane in Gear Dungeon 2. I think you forgot to mention the Wood Elf right now for the cost generation. It is crazy. So Elowen, for a couple reasons, is insanely high on my list. I find her to be the key. The second, you'll see how high she is. She's such a vital piece. Phenomenal. All right, I guess it's my double turn. Since you had 2 in a row, I'll quickly go with my 6. Hopefully it's a pretty fast one. Maybe we've already mentioned it. No, we have not. This is where I've got Beatrix. So I've actually got a whole, my most recent content I've put out that was a proper guide on Gear Dungeon 1 was featuring Beatrix, and she is just nutty. I hate that I don't have the map handy. Next time I do this, I think I'll take a picture of the map so I can just keep popping that open. But basically, her buff allows her summons to deal way more damage than they used to and run all the way over the map. If you put her here pointed down, she will clear these guys on the left faster than basically anything imaginable. Maybe she should be higher on this list. And then these guys have a mind of their own and start sprinting around the map. On lower stages, she can kill everyone over here. She can't do it later on, but she can full clear everyone on the bottom and everyone here. And for stage 10, she can clear like over half of them if you have really good gear, or at least put a nice chunk into the damage. So if you have someone like a Virna for an execute, it's so easy to hit that. So actually, as I say it, maybe she should have been a little bit higher. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree. But Beatrix is completely and utterly cracked out for Gear Dungeon 1 post buff, which I guess was a few months ago at this point, but phenomenally good.
I actually had her in my honorable mentions, believe it or not. I like her, but
you got to use
the
her
times
more.
I've used her. Well, I used her a couple times. One time she was absolutely broken. Another time, well, the other time they didn't have her skills fully upgraded.
That's fair. However, I think
terrible.
Beatrix is so powerful now. She's the kind of unit you can confidently max out with skill crystals. Especially if you're an account that's still progressing and like hasn't done all the gear dungeons. Correct. So I just assume people have her maxed out. But that's a good point. She does need skill ups. If we go to 5, this is where I've got Comet. In my opinion, if you don't have a Bonded Anora, I think Comet is the single strongest DPS still, unbelievably, in the game for the anti-heal strat. He can also work on a stall strat if you have good gear. And if you've got the nice build, and nowadays, I need to still make a video on this, but after the buff to Hell's Lament, that Comet exclusive with the Hell's Lament buff is pretty freaking wacky. I know that's looking ahead at tier 3 gear, but you can make this guy go absolutely ballistic. And if you even just have an excellent wisdom set and like a maxed out artifact, if you've got the guy I have at the very top of the list or some really good greed comps and stall comps, maybe got a Diao Chan buffing him, it's pretty mindless. Like Comet in a wisdom set that has good stats, but a wisdom set, and then Diao Chan buffing him with someone slowing down can do it. And that is crazy. So the sheer power of Comet, I had to have him on my list. I'm assuming he's in your honorable mentions.
You would be in my honorable mentions. I don't even use Esotericist. I go straight Cultist every time.
I will say if you go anti-heal and you have Esotericist, if they happen to have Cyrus, oh my God. Best tank in the game for the bottom. Yeah. The skeletons by you all the time in the world. Yeah. Okay, that is our bottom 6 of the top 10. Who do you have at number 4, Deez?
At number 4, I have a man that not only can he apply inspiration, you know where I'm going with this, he also does slows, he also can heal up cultist faction homies, and he's just an absolute beast. We got my boy Beelzebub. This guy's an absolute beast. I mean, if anybody has a Beelzebub, that I'm going to use him over Diao Chan. That's kind of why I left Diao Chan out. She was into my honorable mentions, but Beelzebub just brings more to the table, in my opinion, just because he slows down the units. I love this guy. This guy makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
And his wrench.
I don't care. I'm just going to show it. I think he's, like, without a doubt, the best unit in the game for Gear Dungeon 1.
There it is.
He trivializes the bottom row to an embarrassing level. Like, you can do this with, I'm sure you could, if you brought it like a Watcher or a Infernal Lord, you could probably do this. If you're using Beelzebub, you could bring Soleil or something. Like the amount that's constant uptime on slows with magic vulnerabilities and the crazy inspiration. What you could do is you put him behind where you'd put greed, and then you put the DPS in front, and then you write GG in the chat and move on to the next takeover. Right? I mean, in my opinion, pound for pound, what he does cracks. He trivializes the stage. I think that's how I put it. He turns the whole thing on its head. You put him here, put the DPS in front.
Yep.
I even will run Malvira on the floor, because why not get a little pushback? You can run any tank if you want. So you could run a Captain Reeve for some slows, additional, a little damage. They won't reach in time because it's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's respectable. I could have easily threw him at my number one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely in my top 5.
Well, let's let you go again because I went on my little rant. Who do you have at the bottom of your top 3 here?
So at number 3, you need this chick in order for the strategy to work. I mean, it makes it a lot harder without this chick. We got my girl Morgan. Morgan is about that life. She honestly... It's really hard if you don't. I mean, of course, if you have Demi, but very rarely does someone have Demi. But Demi also comes with anti-heals, which is kind of cool. But I just use Morgan all the time. I never use Demi. So just for that fact alone, I had to put her number 3 on my list. It's the Lord skill. The Lord skill. I mean, we're not actually using her.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I will say the way you burst down, like with Zarus, Morgan can do a chunk of that. I do that sometimes on accounts. Put her in the top left. But I actually don't have her here, and it's because of her. Diachan's the best character in the game, I think, and basically her and Elowen, and most people have A1 Diachan, and if you have that, you can so easily do this with Aeon or a Bezu. So for that reason, I don't have Morgan on my list. But she does freaking make it really easy. Yeah, I use Aeon all the time.
So you can easily do this. You said easily. You can easily do this.
I mean, okay, if their gear sucks, it's going to be I can't do it, right? But if there's gear's good enough that they reached 9 or 10 and got stuck and they need me, I will do it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like a hard guarantee.
Well, she just makes things easier.
She does. Yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick.
You have that number.
I got to go to 4 now. We'll go pretty fast. Mm-hmm. You've got a girlfriend to pick up. This is where I put Virna. She must be one of your top 2.
Yes. She's actually my number 1.
Yeah, well, we can put it in now. I think Virna is the best DPS in the game for the bottom. Yep. I think she's phenomenal. The only 2 ahead of her, one might surprise you, but it's who I think is the best DPS for the top. And the other one, I'll tell you right now, is just Elowen, because I'm just so high on Elowen. But we'll talk in the honorable mentions. Yep. There is another option now that's coming in just a day now.
Let's go ahead and name our 3 and 2, that we can talk about everything.
Sure, yeah, good idea.
You said Heores, I got Heores too.
Yeah.
he's hands down the best. If you have A1 Heores, you don't even need to worry about anything. You just slap him on the top and he destroys.
A1 Heores pre-buff was head and shoulders better than Valkyria and Thalin or an Ajax strat or Zarus or any of the stuff we talked about, right? Post buff,
insane.
He is like, it is so mindless. If you have Beelzebub, Virna, and Heores A1, you could beat this with like 1 month's worth of gear. You could beat this on day 30. Like, it is insane. I guess I'll add some color, then you can round it out. Virna, absolutely love her. She's the best for the bottom. I just think there are other options, especially if you have anti-heal. And I think for her to be at full form, you kind of need her exclusive bangle. Of course, you don't. It's not required, but that's going to require a little luck and some, suboptimal farming since you haven't cleared this yet. But maybe clear Gear Dungeon 2. I don't know. Heores, I just couldn't put a DPS in the top 2, but we both said it. Freaking God. Elowen, I just value that global rage regen, and then the cost generation from the Wood Elf is outrageous. If anyone doesn't know, the Wood Elf costs 5 to put down. They don't say this anywhere, but it's 8 to pick up. And getting those units out faster is so comfy. And then I talked about Beelzebub forever. Any final thoughts on your last few here?
So the reason why I have Virna at number 1 is because you did mention her exclusive. Are you talking about her exclusive artifact? Or?
I was talking about her gear, but actually kind of both. I will say her exclusive artifact slightly overrated for this because it doesn't really help till after the first round. I meant her exclusive bangle, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't even need the exclusive bangle. I don't need her exclusive artifact. I've done so many takeovers. If they have Virna, she just takes them all out. Yeah. Like having Beelzebub definitely helps. Without Beelzebub, it does make it sometimes a little bit more challenging depending on the gear. But Virna just makes life easy on a takeover, so I had to put her number 1, and she's honestly the first unit I've looked for when I'm doing a takeover, because the top I can do a whole bunch of different things for the top, and if they have A1 Heores, that's the reason why I have him at number 2, because A1 Heores can just delete everything. Like you said, he's the best. Not much more to say about it.
Yeah, I guess final 2 thoughts. If anyone doesn't know, we say A1 Heores because that's when he gets the extra tile to reach everything.
Yes.
I do wonder if post buff he could work at A0 if you had crazy gear. He probably, with really good gear, he probably could. His DPS is outrageous. And he's putting out so many more slows now. I will say with Virna, again, love her. You do kind of need inspiration on her. And like you said, you kind of need a Morrigan too. You can get away without either, but then the strats change. So I mean, she's the highest I have for the bottom, but that's why these two I just think kind of make the whole thing work. All right, honorable mentions. Let's see who we missed. You ready? These are my opinions. If you think I missed anyone else, you can shout them out, and then everyone else can say in the comments, and then you're going to go pick up your girlfriend. I got Thalen here. I kind of went mostly in order by class. Thalen is the third best option, in my opinion, for the top, especially with Yao Chen now. He's easy to gear. He doesn't need to be fully skilled out, though it does help, but I just don't think he's as easy and as accessible as Valkyra, and no one's as good as Heores. It's not even close. Cerberus for the bottom is completely cracked, especially if you have a Virna with the exclusive, but she's not good enough to kill that first wave by herself. You just pop him down. He's going to either insta-kill them, or even if your gear sucks, take them down to halfway. Then she gets her kills, collects the souls, and goes insane with her exclusive artifact. But even still, he's such a good failsafe anywhere. I really like Cerberus. Elder and King Hearts, just excellent lords for Valkyra. Elder after the buff gives so many more shields. That's really clutch. And he gives an attack boost as opposed to a defense boost. That's a really good lord. And then King Hearts here. If you have him A1, the shields he gives Valkyra are inappropriate. I forgot to write down Draylin, but same story there. And if you have her A1, it's an inappropriately large shield and a damage boost. It's outrageous. You don't need any inspiration hero at that point, even with bad gear. Broke gear, I just love him for the bottom. Malvira, I said I use him for those cultist comps, even when they're not going to reach her, just for like a little pushback. Doesn't always work on everyone, but it can work on the archers, and she deals damage. Really easy to build. Zealous post buff we're coming back to. That's where I want to end. Honora, you mentioned. Greed, you mentioned. Mara, you mentioned. Yep. Hollow, you mentioned. The last three. Dolores, you don't have a Diao Chan, you're going to have to inspire someone. So if you don't have Constance, you don't have Diao Chan, you don't have Beelzebub, someone's got to get inspired. You're going to use your Dolores. How could you not? Airless will do Elwyn's job, and she would be super high in this list. She's going to be ridiculous. And if you have Awakenings into her, the damage boost she will give will be inappropriate. Crazy. Super duper
so one
good.
guy that you left off the list is a guy that I wouldn't have on mine, but I know from what you just said earlier, I know you would have on yours. You forgot your guy Cyrus, bro.
I actually didn't, because you don't need him, but I forgot him from the honorable mentions. Okay. That's for sure. Yeah.
That's what I'm about on the honorable mentions.
I actually tried to steer away from the ancient exclusives, though I put Elder because Elder lovers need to see his name somewhere. Okay, Zealous post buff. Hear me out. Yes. Ridiculous DPS. Is not Vir or Comet, but it is significant. Non-stop slows and anti-heal. So he works for all the two main strats. He will work on the bottom. It is so much. And you could even not use a Beelzebub or an inspiration, because he'll make up the DPS Virna's missing from not being inspired. Or you bring the tanks. He brings the anti-heal for 20 freaking seconds if you have his exclusive bangle, 10 seconds if you don't. My God. Excellent. He would be top 10 post buff. I've tested him out. He's so good post buff, and he's going to blow people's mind in Zerbis in the magic form of the Guild Boss 3. So I had to mention Zealous. Sorry, I'm getting a little excited here.
Hey, I love it. I love that we're giving Zealous some love, and I love it. I always said this from the beginning, that Zealous was one of those guys that looked too cool to be.
We have a video where you say that in it.
Yes. So I'm glad that he can finally be of use.
Absolutely, and I think there's no better way to end it. Bringing it full circle to one of our earliest collabs, where you said this guy looks too good to suck this much. Suck this much no longer. The buff is coming, and the buff is legit. That is going to be our list. My top 10, Deez's top 10. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section below. I've been Fastidious. This has been Dr. Deez. Thank you so much, Deez. You got something to go do, right?
Yes, sir. I got to go pick up my girl. So thank you for having me on, and always a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely, guys. And if you're not yet subscribed to Dr. Deez, don't be a fool. Go do that. Share with your mother, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.